Here we go. Here we go. Look at him. Look at him. Montel Allen's in the building. Team No Sleep. Talk to me.
It's all you, man. Another day, man. Another Thursday to see it.
Yes, and it is.
We rocking and rolling, man. I think last week's show was great.
Yes.
I got my new equipment from my man James. He sent me the equipment like he promised. I've been toying around with it, playing with it a little bit, trying to get used to it and making all kinds of funny noises. But hey, man, we here.
I love it.
Everything's coming together. We're getting bigger and better and badder every week that we go. So, man, I'm just like I said, man, it's a blessing. It's just a blessing.
Yes, it is. We keep moving forward. You know, like you said, we getting some traction. Now you done mess around and got some equipment in the studio.
Yeah, man.
Voice and everything. But hey, man, there's a lot of things going on. Let's go ahead and get into it so we can get back to this Clipper game.
Yeah. I don't want to miss the first half, man. Let's get busy right now.
Let's go ahead and start with the playoffs, NBA playoffs. We're in the conference finals right now. Atlanta and Milwaukee are playing. Phoenix and the Clippers are playing. Interesting dynamic. No one ever thought. Well, I don't think everybody thought that these four teams would be in the finals. But talk to me about what's going on. Let's start with the one that happened yesterday, Atlanta and Milwaukee.
Ice tray, man. That ice tray.
There you go.
Woo!
You saw him shake them off?
Yeah, man. Ice trays, man. I think we're witnessing a star being born. I think that he's he reminds me a lot of Allen Iverson, but he's not quite Allen Iverson. I mean, he explodes like him. He cuts to the hole like him. He's not as dynamic as Allen was, but the boy is he's becoming a superstar in front of our very eyes, and he's leading the team that nobody thought in the world had a chance to get to where they were getting at. And they got 1-0 on Milwaukee right now. I don't think Milwaukee's going to have an answer for him. He's not going to put up a 48 or 47 or 48 piece every game, but the way he's able to control the game, he's controlling the tempo of the game. It's almost like I know how you like to say the storylines. Yeah. It'll be interesting if Phoenix gets to the championship as well as Atlanta to see Chris Paul go against Trae Young, like kind of the old school going against the new school at that dynamic position at point guard, which I'm excited about. But, I mean, I like the NBA playoffs this year because I think we talked about a little bit last week. We got big market Atlanta going against small market Milwaukee. We have big market LA going against small market Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And it looks like right now, it's the contrast of kind of two different worlds when you go to those cities. But, they got a lot of support. The NBA's got new fresh blood, fresh teams in there. Crowder's the only one, I think, with championship experience that's left that's playing. I think Crowder from Phoenix has a championship ring out of everybody that's playing. And Chris Paul's the only one, and Crowder only two with, extensive playoff experience.
Any playoff experience, right? Yeah.
Everybody else is new to the game. So, man, it's a fresh new look for the NBA. I think it's great. I think at first they had a hard time embracing it because the traditional superstars weren't in it. Mm-hmm. But now everybody's starting to hear these new names, the Trae Youngs, the Devin Bookers of the world.
Yeah,
Paul George is shaking. Paul George, even though he missed those free throws, man, he shook his rust off and showed that he's a complete player. He's a superstar doing his thing. And, of course, Giannis is back there, plus all the dynamic role players that are coming to play, man. It's a good time to be a fan of the NBA, I believe, right now.
I agree with you 100%, man. I am a fan 100% of young Trae Young. When he shook them boys off last night and he went back and took a seat, got him something to drink, and still went back to the line and still had time to shoot that three-pointer. That was crazy. But hopefully they make some adjustments for him on that because, it would be nice if he kept scoring 48 a night, but it's just not going to happen. They're going to have to make some adjustments. I like what's going on with the Clippers and Phoenix. I like what's happening with the Clippers just because they're having to come into their own and find out who they are without Kawhi.
Yes.
Right. It's not looking good for them from the standings perspective, but when you don't have your best player on the squad and you got to figure out who you are. And tonight I'm watching it, Chris Paul is back in the mix. So they really going to have to figure out who they are if they're going to continue on and make it past Phoenix because that boy Devin Booker.
Yeah, I think it's funny. We witnessed, the other night with the Clippers when they threw that alley-oop to the center and they won the game.
Yeah, 0.7 seconds left.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the Clippers they got to go to the back room and say we gave that game away. They didn't beat us. We gave it away. So I think they found They found their niche. They found how they can play. They found how good they are. And I mean, obviously, Kawhi brings a different dynamic when he's on the court because he's one of the better players in the league. But I like I said, it's funny to see Jackson, aka Bobby Shmurda, out there on the court, doing this thing. I mean, and then you see that young man, that other forward, he's coming and playing, balling. Rondo gave him some quality minutes. DeMarcus Cousins came out of nowhere and gave him double digits. So I think they're starting to find. I think this is a testament to Tyronn Lue. I'm a person, I didn't know how good a Tyronn Lue was, and we're starting to see, man, he's a really good coach. He's playing without his best player. They're down.
He's got a good level head, right? He seems to control the locker room. So his
temperament seems to be very, very well. It seems like he understands his players, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. I'm gonna chalk that win for Phoenix, the last win, kind of a fluke, because you're only gonna see that ever in basketball once in a million, once in 25 years. Will that happen again? It happened to them. Credit to Monty Williams, the coach on Phoenix, that drew that up and saw they were slipping and figured it out. But I think the Clippers can be kicking themselves right now, saying, "Damn, it should be 1-1 right now, going back to the house." So I think they figured out how they can compete with Phoenix. I'm not going to say necessarily beat them, but they can compete with Phoenix. Now it's going to be up to them to even it up at home. The good thing about the Clippers, they've been here before. Exactly. Every series they've been down 2-0, and they've been able to come back. So tonight will be the pivotal game. If they can win tonight, we may see another the series might shift gears again. Who knows? But man, like I said, it's good to be an NBA fan right now because there's so many little sub stories within the bigger story, the bigger picture.
Look at you. Now you're starting to sound like me. I love it, man. I'm starting to wear off on you.
You are. You getting me?
Yeah. So let me bring up an avenue about what's happening right now that I kind of garnered from you. I'm loving the shade of what's going on with NBA leadership right now. Monty Williams, Tyronn Lue.
Yep.
Two black head coaches leading their squads to these conference finals, and you know what, either one of them have a great opportunity of probably getting to the finals, probably getting that ring, getting that trophy. But again, they've got command of their locker rooms, they've got command of their teams. They seem to be respected by their squads. Talk to me a little bit about what we're seeing now. Two prominent teams and prominent positions with African American head coaches.
It's actually three because Nate is black coach.
That's right. We got Nate out there. Yep.
We got three African American head coaches who are running championship quality basketball organizations and teams, and are on the biggest stage of the NBA. We're guaranteed to have one definitely on the biggest stage and possibly two. You know what I mean? So. I think kudos to the NBA. I think the NBA has always been ahead of all the other professional sports as far as hiring African Americans in leadership positions, hiring minorities in leadership positions, because I think we're going to probably have our first woman basketball head coach or big time head assistant pretty soon in the NBA. They've always just been a step ahead of what's going on, and just been a great I think organization, a great filter to be. A great kind of team or professional sports environment to be around. And every other one I'll always follow suits with them. But like you said, the shade of African American is there. We're gonna be in the championship again. One of them are hopefully possibly will win it or they won't. But the fact that we're there, we're showing ourselves in leadership positions. We're showing ourselves that we can control professional teams at the highest level. And be just as good as any X's and O's as any other coach across the board.
Yeah, and being able to control, not only to control, but be able to manage, coach these high personalities, right?
Absolutely.
Kawhi Leonard, Chris Paul, Trey. You got these types of folks who are used to getting their way because they're the superstar. Everyone in the town knows them. They go to Denny's, they get the whole thing free. But but being able to corral these gentlemen and have them work as a team instead of individual, I think that speaks volumes to the coaching. So that's what's happening.
Let's not forget their staffs too. I mean, I know it takes a village to run the team. I know they kind of get the bulk of it, but their assistant coaches, man, are so strong. I know Milwaukee has Darvin Ham is on there. Very strong guy, been in the league, used to be in the league forever, been a great coach. So, and that's on Milwaukee. He's an African-American person or African-American man. I just think not only the head coaches are the figures, I think I like the fact that the owners have trusted them with their organizations because typically it hasn't been the case. I see it's starting to spill over. Jason Kidd looked like he might be the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. That looks like that might happen. They were talking about that today. So, man, it's just starting to kind of open up. And like I said, the NBA has kind of been the forefront of all that. And I think the WNBA will be the forefront of some changes as well, going with women's sports. Man, this is, like I said, if you're a basketball fan and fanatic, this is a good time to be on the bandwagon of the NBA.
Definitely, I agree.
They made some mistakes. Let's be wrong. They made some mistakes with the bubble. I think the bubble was more of a tournament, not a championship. That was more of a tournament, NBA tournament, but they can label as it was. But the quick turnaround with COVID, maybe not such a good idea. Yeah. Some injuries, but they seem to always fix it, man. I don't know what the NBA. They always seem to fix it and get things right and get it going. So, man, I mean, kudos to that. I mean, if you want to work for a professional organization, it looks like that's the one to go to because they seem that they got their stuff together. And
Adam Silver, good commissioner there. We can talk what we want to about Goodell and some of the other sports. They seem to not be as aligned with their staff, being the players and the coaches and the owners, things like that. But yeah, Adam Silver seems to have it down, which is good. So shouts out to him.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So basketball, let's big news. Let's talk about these Olympics that's coming up.
Man,
let's talk about let's talk about. I'm loving the graphic. Land, air, and sea. Right. Yeah. We trying to do some things, and it's getting noticed. Land, Sha'Carri Richardson from LSU. Shouts out to the Lady Tigers from LSU.
Lady Tigers, she's the baddest thing on the planet right now running.
she running circles. She leaving people in the blocks, and she didn't already qualify.
It's funny, man. It's funny because I watched the race again.
Yeah,
and she unofficially clocked a 10. I think a 10.59.
That doesn't even make sense. That's not even human. Right.
She went a 10.59. But I mean, with win aided, it became a 10.7. Obviously, that's what the official one, but she still broke the record regardless.
Yeah.
But I don't think people realize how fast that is. I don't think they really. You got to think that's fast.
That's 100. That's 100 meters.
100 meters. She can Let's put this in real perspective. She can outrun a lot. She can outrun probably 90% of the men in the NFL. In a 100-meter race.
Yes.
She could beat them.
Yeah. Quickly and still have time to point at the clock and say, look at what I did.
Yeah. She's done something amazing. I love the fact that she credited FloJo. She gave FloJo her credit, how she opened the door, where she's at right now, how she believes in her team and her mom. I like the fact that she went to go see her mom right afterwards and shouted out her mom.
Well, so that was her. She lost her mother, her biological mother. Yeah, She lost her biological mother right before the trials.
Okay.
So when she qualified for Tokyo with that 100 meters, and we saw her running up to the stands, that was her grandmother.
Oh, that was a grandma. Okay.
So that was a grandma. So that's a story in and of itself, right? Keeping things in perspective, right? Again, real short after losing her biological mother, she's keeping it, showing that family is first. And the first thing that she did, even before shaking anybody's hands or doing any interviews, she ran up to the stands and talked to, and hugged her grandmother. So you got to respect that.
Yeah, that's a story within itself, man. And I think that just shows probably the personality she is, how her family is so important to her. I'm sure. Like anyone that's lost their mother or lost a loved one, she probably was, missing her inside and mourning her. But I think that's also probably her driving stick. That's probably driving her to the success she wants to get and the things she wants to do. So I wish her all the best in the world. I hope she shatters the record again in Tokyo. But she's a bad young lady.
She's bad.
Yeah, she's a bad young lady on the track. And I think she's going to set a new standard not only for track, but for also young ladies. I think she handles herself very well. She's true to her roots. She's true to who she is. She's very articulate. She watches what she says. I don't know if you watched the interview, but she watched exactly what she was saying. She paid attention to exactly what she said, and she made sure she thanked everyone in her team and in her corner for her success and where she got to now, and that she wasn't finished yet. She was ready. She's ready to go some more. So I applaud her. And before we move on to the other two people, I want to give a shout out to the young man from Portland or from Oregon that broke the shot put record. I can't think of his name, but he broke the shot put record there at the Olympic trials as well.
Wow!
I mean, he shattered it. He shattered it. Man, I forgot. Man, I meant to write his name down. I did, but give a shout out to him. I know he did it. I want to just make sure he gets acknowledged. And now we can move on to the other two men. Like We're qualifying everything, though, man. I think
Everything. Look, okay, so you think about her. So again, before we go on to the next one, I want to see her when she does get to Japan and because I was reading a story about how she colors her hair for different moods, different atmosphere, depending on how she's feeling that day. And I want to see that personality come out when she goes overseas. She goes to Tokyo and she's just darting down the track. So yeah, we definitely looking forward to that. All right, that's land. Air. Oh my, we're gonna talk about the Queen, Simone Biles.
Well, you just said it. There ain't nothing else to say.
we can stop right there, right? We can stop right there. Simone Biles.
She's so. I mean, let's be honest, man. She's the best thing I think for U.S. gymnastics since Mary Lou Retton, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
that's Mary Lou Retton was America's baby. Yeah. I think Simone Biles is that, and it could even be more because, this is where the more part comes in. Mary Lou Retton was America's baby, but Simone Biles is not only I think she could be America's baby, but now African Americans are paying attention to more gymnastics more. Yeah. We're seeing it. We're going to be watching the Olympics just to see her be successful. Just to support her as a not only American athlete, but just as an African American athlete. So I think she's going to get so much love, the success she has. So, I mean, she's the best. She's been the best for the last 4 years, man. She's just sharp. She's good.
Well, you think about this in that comparison that you just made, right? She's winning, right? Yes. So folks are watching her from that perspective, right? We watch winners and we gravitate towards folks that are winning. But she also did something incredibly against the grain and against the system. When she left all that money from Nike because they weren't paying any attention to her, they weren't giving her just due, they weren't giving her the respect, and she went to her current sponsor, Athleta. That's a huge thing, right? When you leave that contract and you decide to make that move for yourself because you feel you're being disrespected. That raised eyebrows as well, and that raised conversation. And now she's out there talking about, you need to recognize that I am the GOAT because my resume speaks for itself. I don't have to say anything. You can look at me being the 7-time champion, the most decorated gymnast out there in the game right now, yada yada yada, all that. She's letting the actions out there on the routines and on the court and on in the gym speak for all of her accomplishments. And absolutely, you don't see that a lot.
No, I mean, she made
at this young age.
Well, we talked about before. She made a very decisive business move for herself and her fan, for her brand. She decided to move away from Nike, the juggernaut that we all know and that we all love. Let's not deny we all love.
Look, everybody wants Nike.
Everybody got some Nike. And she made a strong professional business move to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to break ties with them. I'm going to go with someone that I feel comfortable with for them to endorse my brand and brand herself. I think now, like you said, her speaking her resume, saying I'm the best, I'm the GOAT. That's elevating her brand and her new company's brand, which Nike wasn't doing for her. Yeah. So she said she's taking matters in her own hands, saying I'm gonna do it for myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a professional business move. I think she's gonna feel the effects of it and how great it's gonna be after the Olympics. Because once she wins gold and other sponsors wants to jump on board, and her sponsorship that she currently has elevates, and her business acumen elevates, she's gonna be the $1 million. She's gonna be the $1 million girl out there. Everything she's gonna touch is gonna turn to Midas gold. So, good move for her. I hope she can corral other people to follow her suit. You know, I think we're starting to learn as we get more familiar with business. And I'm talking about people that are in the urban areas and people that have been underprivileged. As we learn more and more about business, we're starting to understand we can do it on our own. We don't need the big boys so much no more. Look at the music industry. The music industry is destroyed because people figure out they can do it on their own. You don't no longer need a label. I think it's going to be the same thing with branding like this. If she can pull this off, she can say, I don't need the Nikes. I can go to a smaller company, excel them, and we can all blow up together.
Exactly.
And I think that's going to be a new formula. The Nikes are always going to be there, just like, the Def Jams and all them are always going to be there and always make money some sort of way. But this is going to be a new elevation and way for us to show us how we can brand in athletics. We know a lot of athletes don't get their just do or their just brand. This is going to be the new way to figure out how, hey, I can do it on my own. I can go with a smaller company, or I can go with my friends that know how to do this and work with them, and we can build our own brand up. So kudos to her, man. But much respect.
You sound like Jay-Z over there. I'm a businessman, and that's what it is, right? Branding herself, and again, the resume speaks. I know she's competing in her second trial tomorrow, and then the 27th. So she's still out there doing the tumbling thing. Wish her nothing but the best of luck on that. But she's already solidified as the capital GOAT for sure.
Absolutely.
So shouts out to young Simone Biles. All right, so we got land, air. We in the water too. We know how to swim.
Man, we figured it out.
Simone Manuel is out here doing some things that Simone Manuel's got some interesting stuff, right? So we noticed she won the gold back in Rio for the 100 meter. Unfortunately, she didn't qualify this year at the trials for the 100 meter, but for the 50 meter freestyle win, that's what's going to send her to Tokyo right now. So I mean, talk about another one coming up, doing big things. This time we in the water.
We had another role model, man. We got another role model in the making. I mean, let's be honest. For our I think young women are starting to get, and I'm gonna take it from a different perspective. Young women are starting to get the role models from the business aspect, from STEM programs and all that. Now they're gonna get it in the professional sports entertainment world with these athletes, these female athletes that are striding and doing remarkable things. I think this is just going to be one more example. We can do it not only in track, we can not only do it in gymnastics, we can not only do it in tennis, we can not only do it in basketball, we can do it in swimming as well. And she's going to be the face for our people. So I'm all for it, man. I think like I said, our young brown sisters, Latino, Asian, and so on and so on. Black, everybody, that incorporate a little bit of melanin in their skin. I think these are some examples that are set in these athletic worlds for them to not only, like I said, not only be perfectionists in their craft, what they're doing sports wise, but be perfectionists in the entertainment business as well. Because at the end of the day, someone's making money off of it. Why not? Why won't it be you for your athletic ability?
Exactly. And what I love the fact that folks are starting to see us in different venues as well, right? So it's not just basketball, it's not just football, it's not it's track, we fast and all that, but but now we talking about gymnastics, we talking about swimming. I mean, Tiger kind of started it, right? Because he was out there doing the golf thing, but it's really good to see these positive influences. I do have a pivot that I want to position to you about Simone Manuel. I'm not sure if you saw this. OTS is something she has suffered from. OTS is Overtraining Syndrome. And essentially it's fatigue or declining performance despite kind of maintaining or increasing your load of training. For all of us laymen, is burnout, right? So she got burnout when, the body just fails to recover, which I think contributed to maybe contributed to her not qualifying for the 100 meter freestyle, right? So just again, continuing to train, continuing to put the plates on while she's in the gym and all that, but still the body just isn't recovering. What are your thoughts on that, and what do you tell especially young athletes? Because I know you work with a lot of folks in football about recovery and this whole concept of overtraining syndrome.
It's rest. Your body needs rest, and I think sleep is not talked about enough because your body needs to sleep and relax. I also believe hydration is probably the second biggest thing that attributes to a lot of those things. You may think you're hydrated, you may feel like you're hydrated, but your body's actually dehydrated. So those two things are like the main thing for when you get over fatigued and overstrained and overstraining muscles. But I mean, the biggest thing is rest. I think, especially when you're young, and probably in her age, I'm not quite sure what her age is, but I mean, if she's in her early 20s, I mean, that's the age where, hey, I can work. I mean, you're invincible. You feel you're invincible. I can get up early in the morning. I can train. I can go hang out with my peoples. I can go do this, do that, and I
can eat McDonald's.
I can eat what I want, and then I can party all night, and I can do the same thing all over again. I mean, we've all been there before in our 20s. We've been there where, hey, I'll go to Vegas and do all nighter in Vegas and be at work on Monday morning and be fine and work the whole day. So I think
try that now.
Don't try that now. I need a nap when I just fly to Vegas before when I touch down, I got to go take a nap. So I just think she's probably, I think a combination of things probably caused her to be fatigued. But also some of that stuff can also be biological. It depends on her muscle structure, what's going on in her body, how she's doing certain things. But she's with the best of the best in the Olympics. They'll get her right. They'll fix her. But the main thing I would just say rest, man. And I think young people don't stress it enough when it comes to sleep.
Yeah,
physically sleeping and resting, not taking a quick nap or not getting that restless sleep you get in the middle of the night. I'm talking about actually sleeping, getting a chance to really just rest your body and do the things you're supposed to do. So when that comes into play, I think she'll be okay.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. I was listening with one ear and one eye because I got the game on. Right, it's 20-17, the Clippers over the Suns, and Crowder just got an elbow from Paul George. We've seen a lot of folks get these shots to the face, and a lot of these brothers are bleeding right now. So he's walking off right now, going to get that looked at.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If we're two grown men and we're in the competitive stage, and it's gonna get physical.
Yeah,
it's gonna get physical. That's the nature of the beast. Now, elbows and stuff, you got to kind of tame that down. But the pushing and the shoving and the bump of the shoulders and all that stuff, it happens. It's gonna happen because we're, the testosterone's flowing. We're ready to compete and get it on.
This is nothing like the Pistons of the old days. So
this right here, man, they would laugh about this back in those days, and when the New York and the Pistons used to play, or when the Pacers used to play New York, those were like, we already know we're throwing the gloves on as soon as we step into the stadium and we're gonna go. So this is a tamer thing. I do believe that the flying at elbows, because you can really injure somebody bad if you throw a wild elbow. And I think the refs will get that under control. It just got to be a kind of a matter of time and figure out the temperament of the game, because I do believe the referees let some things go, and then they don't let other things go. They'll let a foul, they'll call a foul, and then someone to get pushed, and they won't say anything. So I think they got to get control of where they want to be at. But again, we got to remember, they had a short season just like the NBA guys did. They are tired just like some of the NBA guys are. They're going through the same thing they are, and no one ever talks about the refs. And I'm not defending them.
They running up and down the court too, right? So
and they're traveling and they stay in the hotels. They're away from they just like everybody else.
Yep.
I believe hopefully they can get it right and get into a nice rhythm and call the game fairly and make sure there's nothing bad. I'm glad they got instant replay. They kind of call some plays around. There's some thing. I think they'll review this year and they'll tweak some of the rules again to make sure it's more streamlined across the board when they make calls. But otherwise, man, they're doing fine in the elbow. Hey, if you're gonna play that long and play in the NBA, you're gonna catch one. That's the nature of the beast.
Hey, go rub some dirt on it. You're gonna be all right.
Man, you're gonna be all right, man. Get out there, hoop, man. And you didn't break as long as you didn't break your shooting wrist of your legs, you're good to go. You good to play.
That's true, man. So look, those were the stories that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to just make sure we talked about the playoffs, because we in the heat of it. We in the midst of it right now. I see Chris Paul is still on the bench right now. He's sweating a little bit, but he's been out for about a week. Yeah, definitely wanted to talk about these Olympic trials that we going through, and I think we need to.
You got to talk about my man of the Raiders. My man that came out.
Yeah, you know what? That's true, right? And I haven't actually. I didn't get as much information on that, but let me while you chime in on that, let me see what I can find about that, because that's he's not the first. That has done that, but I think he is going to last longer, right? Because
he's a proven player in the NFL, and that's why I believe his last name is Basir. I don't want to mispronounce his name. Is it Basir? Bessir.
Defensive lineman.
Yeah. Jacob Basir. I think that's his name. I want to make sure that's correct before I start to allude on it. But the young man, obviously, what happened is he announced that he's gay, and he announced it on Instagram, and I believe it on Twitter or Instagram.
Called Nassib.
Yeah, but the C. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, what's it? How you pronounce it?
Carl Nassib, Nassib, Carl
Okay,
Nassib.
Nassib. So he announced to everyone that he was gay, and that he felt that he was in a comfortable spot where he felt comfortable announcing it and telling everybody and sharing that with the NFL world. Me personally, I wouldn't care. When I played, I wouldn't care. Be who you are.
Lace him up.
It doesn't affect me. But I do believe I applaud him for his courage. I applaud him for being himself. I applaud him to sharing his truth with everybody.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. He's going to get backlash. Yeah. And I think he's going to get backlash from some players that are ignorant and that don't agree with him and his decision or sexuality. And I think he will get a backlash from ownership and people that are owners in there. Because as we saw with Sam's, when he tried to come out,
that's his name,
do it, he got a backlash. The NFL doesn't like things that are non-traditional outside of what they normally do. This is something outside of they normally do. Whether they have it or not, the guys have always been in the closet and never said anything about it.
Yeah.
But the NFL doesn't like things. They don't like things that are disruptive. They don't. It's historic. If you look at the NFL's history, they don't like things that are disruptive. This could potentially be something that is disruptive. So with that being said, I think he's going to catch some backlash, but he's going to be able to overcome it because, one, he has so much overwhelming support.
That's true, right? A lot of players, not just on his squad, right? A lot of players across the league and some other entertainers and celebrities and athletes have come out and said, "Hey, man, we with you." And like I said, just lace them up. We've seen your body of work too. We know what you can do.
And that's what he has for him. He has a great body of work. He's been successful in NFL for the last couple of years. He's been a terror at defensive end. I think that's what's going to get him over. I think the NFL may try to hush it. They'll do something to kind of hush it because they'll feel it's a distraction. I just feel we can care less, man. I don't care what you do. As long as we on that field for 60 minutes and you getting down, I don't care. When you go home and who you choose to love and who you choose to be with, that's your personal business.
That's on you.
That has nothing to do with me at that point. But I think as long as he's performing within that 60 minutes and doing things right way, he'll get more and more love. I found an interesting thing that was funny. Well, I wouldn't say it was funny, but it was very telling of how our society has changed. When he came out and he announced it to the world that he was gay, his jersey was the highest selling jersey for the next 3 days.
I love it.
Which it tells that, hey, the people are supporting him. There's a market there that people like and they like to acknowledge, and no one feels discomfort like they used to when that situation came up.
Exactly.
The discomfort is not there. Now, that being said, there's going to be ignorance. It always is. People are going to call him all kinds out of his name, but they've been calling him out of his name, period, since he's been playing. So I don't think that'll be anything new. They'll say that stuff like they've been on the field, just trash talking on the field, anything to get you out of your game. I just hope he's strong enough and his will is powerful enough to get him through all that stuff where they just like, oh, he is. He's just a normal person. He's a normal football player. What he does behind closed doors is his own business. And that's the way I think everyone should look at it. But very proud of the man. I think probably my younger day, I'll be the first one to admit it. I would have felt uncomfortable when I didn't have a lot of knowledge about the situation, when I was very young and immature. But as I got older, I'm more mature. I understand, how people's feelings are. So I wouldn't have a problem with it now. But I'm going to be perfectly honest with a 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, 22-year-old, I would have been ignorant back in those days. I probably would. Yeah. I'd feel uncomfortable about it. And I'm just being perfectly honest with you.
No, that's true. I mean, right. I mean, that's just maturity, right? Too. Again, as you've as we all gotten older and either had more life experiences or whatever the case may be, we've matured and that's that positive growth. That's that positive growth, right? But
absolutely.
I'm loving him. I'm watching the stories, looking at him as well. Yeah, about his jersey just being the hottest thing. They
can't keep it in stock now, which is great for him. And I think that's gonna further his cause. And I believe he's now set a platform for now the other players that are gay that want to come out, or the coaches that want to come out that said they're gay. He's setting the platform a kind of a plateau to say, hey, it's okay to do it. We can coexist in this violent football world together, and it shouldn't have anything to do with our sexuality or our sexual preference at all. It should just be the merit of what you perform on the field.
That's it right there. That's all we ask to be judged on, all of us, right? Just what I do. If I show up and I do the work, that's what you should be judging me on. Don't worry about don't worry about the distractions or anything else, right? Because that's a lot of times that's noise, right?
Yes.
Just worry about me and what I do and how I'm performing for this organization or this team. I'm talking for Carl Nassib, third person, but that.
And the crazy part, and this is where it's going to get interesting, when he has a bad game, because we're judged on our performances.
We're
judged on our performances. So when he has a bad game, that's when you will see all that negative publicity and those negative comments, I think, come out more and more. I believe I was thinking about the other day, what I want to see from the NFL, I want to see how they handle it, like with the fans.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
Do the fans bring in the derogatory signs? Or what if a fan is, calling him out of his name, something that's very derogatory from the stands? How is the NFL going to handle that, or is security going to be able to handle that, or how's he going to strive from that? That's going to be the part I'm more interested in than within his team and everything, because his team is going to support him. I believe his coaches are going to support him. But when you go to another fan stadium, someone has a crazy sign or something like that that's really offensive towards him. How is that going to be handled? That's the part I want to see. And I'm sure the NFL is going to do the right thing. I'm sure they're going to have protocol in place to kind of deal with it. But those are the distractions you're going to have to deal with, unfortunately. Unfortunately, in our society.
Yeah, you go to Philadelphia and they start throwing batteries.
Who knows?
See, I said it. And hopefully they don't do that. Lord have mercy. But they have been known to throw batteries at folks, guys.
Yeah, I mean, throw batteries or throw anything that's not warranted.
Yeah,
First of all, you throw anything in everybody. You just it's just not.
Come on, Eagles fans, don't do that to nobody.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I want the brother, man. I hope him much success, man. Like I said, I think if he has a successful season, I think he's going to open up so many doors and so many things if he has a really, really successful season.
Yeah.
I think it's going to open up so many doors for him as an individual, as well as for other people that are gay within the NFL industry, and within giving another face to their platform.
Yeah.
To say, hey, there's another successful face on the platform. So, man, it's all good, man. I think anytime you're doing the right thing for yourself and the right thing for humanity in general, can't nothing but applaud it.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Look, man, you dropping wisdom over there. I would say go ahead and hit one of them sound effects, but I don't want you to break that.
Yeah, hit that one.
I love it. Well, look, brother, we're gonna end early tonight because we both trying to watch this game. We got other things going on as well. Next week, I'll be back in the home studio, and we'll be back to streaming at 4K and everything instead of using this 1080p NDI solution on my phone. But we making it happen either way.
Hey, man, we make it happen any kind of way we can. Just make sure we give you guys a good perspective, and like you said, talk about the social impact of sports. Also, the scores, man. So we good.
Brother Montel, be good to yourself, and I'll holler at you next week, man.
I'm out. Prayers and play. Blessings, man.
Later.